Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I am your host, Anatholkus, and this is The Boys, Season 1, Episode 3, Get Some. But before we get some, I have a winner to announce, actually, for the iZombie contest that I had going on there. And yes, I am late again, Joe, because I was trying to put together all this stuff so I could pick a name out of a hat and all that stuff. I have this little pesky thing called a day job. So the grand prize, of course, is this Comic-Con bag from this year, 2019 Comic-Con. So I've got myself a hat right here. Okay. This is actually a Venture Brothers hat. This is a Sergeant Hatred hat. There we go. And I've got myself my names right here on this little strips of paper. So I've got Matt Thornton. I'm going to crumple that up and just throw it in there. I've got I'm Batman, who's in there as well. I've got Anthony Greenslade, who's in there. If I can get that in there. I've got Sailor Sonic 78. And again, this is all people who left comments on the iZombie, the last iZombie video. I've got Edward Brewer, who's in there. Yeah, what do you got there, Stan Flo? What's your request? Joe, I've got you in here as well. And I've got John. Love these names. I've got Sylvia Maria Fleitis is her name. Got that in there. Pen Farm Girl. We got Pen Farm Girl in there as well. Toss it in there. I've got Jimmy Olsen's Blues. And finally, because he did actually post, even though he was a troll, Archie Bunker. I've got that in there as well. Now, if Archie Bunker gets this, I might just have to, I don't know. Not the troll dude. Yeah, I know. Well, if he gets it, no, he's not going to get it just because he's a dick. Can you come to my stream on the 6th? It's going to be basically my birthday stream. What is your stream, Stan Flo? It depends. Because the 6th is also going to be when Titans Season 2 airs. And that's going to be kind of difficult for me to do. So if it's going to be later, baby, but during the day, it's going to be hard to do. All right. So let's see who I get here. The winner is Anthony Greenslade. All right. So Anthony Greenslade, there you go. You have 48 hours from now to give me your mailing address. Hopefully it's not outside of the country, because remember, this is open to U.S. residents only. And you are the winner of this nice little Comic-Con bag right here. There we go. Congratulations, Anthony. Like I said, you can email me at suspendedfanimation, all one word, at gmail.com. Let me know what your address is, and from there, I can send that stuff out to you. I'm actually going to pick one more name out of the hat, just so that'll be the secondary one, just in case Anthony can't get it. And that second name is Sailor Sonic 78. Sailor Sonic 78. There you go. So Anthony Greenslade is the winner, and Sailor Sonic 78 is the backup. So there we go. All right. So let me get some business out of the way as well. If you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. You can hit the dislike button. I just ask that you go down in the comment section, tell me what it is you don't like, give me some constructive criticism. Also, if you want to see when I'm going to be on live again next, you can hit the bell down below. If you've already hit the bell, don't hit it again. It will unclick it. And you can go into the bell settings and get as many or as little notifications as you want. Just because you hit the bell does not mean that it's actually going to give you a notification. YouTube is funny like that. If you want to see when I'm going to be on live, you can go to my website, suspendedfanimation.com. I'm usually within 15 minutes of my time that I have set up there. I also mirror that same schedule up on my Facebook page as well. I also have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, and I have a Patreon page. I don't have tiers set up as of yet, but I will do this at some point in time. Mufinobi says, I'm glad I wasn't picked. I have to unsubscribe. Well, Mufinobi, you didn't enter, so that was the whole thing. All donations to my stream I'm doing will go to my tuition. Okay. Let's see. Can you come to my stream? It's on the 6th, and it's a gaming stream. Stanfloat, I'll just tell you right now, I'm not a big gamer at all. So I pretty much suck at that. And I know some video games because I've worked with some people that have been in the video game industry. But I can tell you right now that it's going to be boring with me there. That's all I can say. So I can't promise anything. But just so you know. With that said, let's get to the boys. And congratulations again, Anthony Greenslade. Let me know what your mailing address is, and I'll get that bag out to you. So, spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the shit out of this episode. If you have not seen the episode, go and watch it. Come on back, and it will be a video, and you can comment down below in the comment section. Thank you, Viking Bitch, for the paddle. Well, Mr. Roboto, you never even commented down in the comment section, so you weren't entered into the bag raffle. There you go. You had a whole week to do it. I actually put the whole rules and everything inside the what this is about section of that video. I even said it at the very beginning of that video too, but nobody took me up on it other than those couple of people. And tomorrow is going to be a special little video as well or a special stream, I should say, to give away the Swamp Thing poster. That's the other one. So you've got until tomorrow at 5 p.m. to put in a comment on the very last Swamp Thing video to get entered for that Swamp Thing poster. And again, open to U.S. residents only. I can't afford the international steerage, I guess the cost. There you go. Yeah, I miss Swampy too. And of course, this thing, the boys, at the very last episode of this, people are going to be getting. If I can actually reach it, hang on. It slipped, of course, further down than it should be. The first place prize is going to be this Fuck Soup's foam finger that was actually given away at the fan sneak preview over at Comic-Con. That's the first prize. And the second prize is going to be this handy little coin that I got from Amazon, the Amazon experience. That's the boys. And of course, it says 2019 Comic-Con on the back there. And I'm having some little camera hiccups like it was doing last night. For some reason, ever since YouTube switched over their system over here, my camera's been freaking out because of it. I don't know what's going on, but the colorization on it just went wacky is what happened. So if you don't mind for just a second, I'm going to white you guys out and then come back again. And there we go. That usually kind of does things, puts it up all nice and good there. Whoa, as I shake the camera. All right, so let's get started. The Boys, Season 1, Episode 3, Get Some. And we start off, of course, with Huey hosing off what's left of Translucent off his body, and Butcher and Frenchie scooping up with the remains of it and putting it in a baggie. And Huey asks what they're going to do with him. And Butcher says, don't worry about it. He'll take care of it. And Frenchie's taking care of the tracking chip. He's disabled it. And Huey wants to go home and just get some clothes. And Butcher's like, no, you just killed a soup, man. You killed like the best loved soup in America. People are going to be looking for you. So no, he goes, you're not leaving without Frenchie going with you. So he agrees, and Frenchie goes with him. And Butcher takes what's left of Translucent, puts it in a box, carries it out, and then bombs the shit out of the restaurant. Yeah. Starlight, in the meantime, is going into Stillwell's office to get her ass chewed out for that morning. Because remember, this is the morning after the video has gone out of her kicking those two douchebags' asses on video. And she enters the office fearing the worst. And Stillwell cuts her off when she's just about to explain herself and says, you know what? You're trending through the roof. The girl who was going to get date raped came forward after seeing the video and corroborated everything that happened. You're a huge success. Everyone loves you. Your numbers are trending. even in places such as San Francisco and New York. They're congratulating you for kicking those guys' ass. And we're here with Seth and Evan, and Seth and Evan have come up with a really good way of promoting you even more. And so they go through this whole spiel about her small town upbringing, and they unveil her new skimpy outfit that she's going to wear. And she's like, no, I don't think so. She says, that is not me. And Stillwell says, well, it's a collaboration, you and Vought. You're supposed to be working with us. She goes, yeah, but that's not me, and I'm not going to be working that outfit. And she goes, well, if you don't wear that outfit, then you're no longer on the 7, is what she says. The boys is set in New York City, Mr. Roboto. New York City. Yeah. New York. Get a rope. Huey, in the meantime, comes home with Frenchie and tells Frenchie to wait outside. And he's packing up some clothes, and he sees all this soup stuff, on the shelves around his room and everything. And he fucking just loses it and destroys his room. I mean, just absolutely destroys his room. He picks a picture up off the floor of him and Robin, and he's broken the frame and everything. And he takes the picture out and takes it with him. And his dad comes in and says, what the hell? And Huey's like, yeah, sorry, I meant to clean up the soup stuff a little bit, to get rid of it a little earlier. And sorry about what happened. He goes, Huey, I called your doctor. And he goes, that's my pediatrician. He goes, he's still your doctor. I thought it was kind of funny. And I think we should see somebody about your problem. And I started getting vibes off of Suicidal Tendencies song. Now I'm just blanking on the name of the title of the song, but basically Mike is having some problems and his parents want him to get some help before he hurts himself because he's flying off the handle. And he basically tells his dad's like, we talked all the time. You told us what it was. We talked about everything. Now you don't talk anymore. And Huey's like, bullshit, Dad. He goes, we never talked. You don't know anything about me. He goes, every time we sat on the couch, it felt like we were dead. We were just sitting there watching TV. And he goes, and I fucking hate pizza rolls. See you, Mr. Roboto. So yeah, he's like, I fucking hate pizza rolls. And he goes, you love pizza rolls. Maybe when I was 7. That's the last time I did, but not now. And I've got to go. And his dad's like, well, where are you going? And he says, someplace. I don't know yet. And he apologizes again and leaves, takes his bag with him. And Frenchie outside tells, Huey, he goes, I had a father. He was bipolar. And one night when I was 10, he tried to smother me with a Hello Kitty duvet. Which I don't know why. But it's fucking funny because the way he does it, he tried to smother me with a Hello Kitty duvet. He says it really, really fast, but it's just really fucking funny. And Huey just kind of looks at him like, what? So we get introduced to Mother's Milk. That's his name, is Mother's Milk. And he is working with some underprivileged kids that are, it looks like a prison setting, honestly, is what it looks like. It looks like he's in juvie. And these kids are fighting, and he breaks them up, and he basically reads them, he says, you know what? Sign up on the board to play the game here, because they're playing Pong, I think is what it was, ping pong. And he goes, you're going to sign up on the board, but you're going to sign up at the very bottom of the list. And, one of the kids tries using some slang profanity to describe each other, and he's like, what did you say? Because I know you speak better than that. And yeah, he basically just kind of reads them the right, and you see he's setting these kids right, he's setting them straight, which is good. And he goes back into his office to go and do whatever he was doing in there. And who's in there waiting for him but Billy? And he's like, oh fuck, what the hell do you want? And they know each other, of course. And Mother's Milk is not happy to see him, of course, and wonders why he's doing this. No, on second thought, don't tell me. He goes, I don't want to know. And he says, well, how's Monique? And he goes, she spits every time she hears your name. So if she even knew I was talking to you right now, she would leave me, is what he says. And Billy says, well, you know what? We killed the soup. And Mother's Milk is like, bullshit. How? And so, and who? And Billy tells him it was translucent with a lump of C4 up the ass. Yeah. And all that stuff. And he goes, we need you. I've got some information out of him before we blew him up. And I think we take the whole thing down. And Mother's Milk like, no, I don't think so. Not after what happened with Mallory. He goes, that whole thing. He goes, no worry, it's going to be different this time. And Mother's Milk's like, all right, but I'm not coming if you're working with that asshole Frenchie. I don't want anything to do with him. He goes, Frenchie? I haven't spoken to him in years. Yeah, Billy just kind of manipulating people, which is really fucked up. Yeah, Mother's Milk really should have said no to Butcher. He really should have. And I love that as Mother's Milk says, I'm a motherfucker with a heart. Well, you're just a motherfucker. That's one of my favorite lines. So Homelander, in the meantime, is in Stillwell's office, and she's got her baby, and her baby's kind of cooing. And he's like, can you get it to shut up? And she's like, he's not crying. He's just happy. And he's like, whatever kind of thing. He goes, did you hear? Translucent signal. We lost it. We don't know what happened to it. And he could be dead for all we know. And she goes, come on, he's got diamond hard skin. What the hell can happen to him? So she gives him some talking points, and he refuses. He goes, I make my own talking points. And he crumples it up and throws it to the ground. He goes, I'm not reading this shit. And she goes, well, that was written specifically by Mr. Edgar, and he wants you to read that stuff. And he gingerly picks it up and smooths out that piece of paper and takes it with him as he leaves. So Mother's Milk and Butcher, in the meantime, are in the back of a moving van. They're doing surveillance. When Huey and Frenchie come back, and of course, Mother's Milk and Frenchie just want to fucking kill each other at this point. They are at each other's throats from the get-go. And, this is just, they don't even get into the truck before this all happens. And he basically wants to kill Frenchie for what happened to Mallory's grandkids. So we don't know who the hell Mallory is. We don't know who Mallory's grandchildren are. We just know that something bad has happened at some point in time in the past. Hi, Sasha, by the way. I didn't get to see you there. Mother's Milk, or MM as his friends call him, his phone goes off with Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up. Yeah, we get Rickrolled on the 3rd episode is what we get. And it's Monique, and she wants to know if he, marinated the pork loin, which he didn't, and or marinated the fish. That's what it was. And so he's going to go and pick up some pork loin and all this stuff. And he's being all domestic on the phone, and he's like, "Okay, baby, I got to go." And he's like, "No." He goes, "I can't." Okay, I'll do it. And he goes like really loud into the phone. And that's when Frenchie and Butcher just fucking lose it and start laughing. And I did too. He's like, yeah, fuck you both, is what he says. And at this point, everything's diffused. And Butcher's like, you know what? Can we work together now? Can you guys bury the hatchet? We got a job to do. And that's when Huey finally gets introduced to MM. And they're surveilling Pop Claw, who obviously owes some rent to her landlord. We see this outside. And supposedly A-Train is seeing Pop Claw, who is a lower level superhero, isn't part of the 7. And as they're doing all this surveillance, basically the hard way, Huey's like, where'd you buy all this shit? Circuit City? And he says, there's an easy way of doing this. He goes, all I need to do is get inside. He goes, I can get through her IP, and she's got cameras everywhere, most likely in the place. We can just watch from there. So he and Mother's Milk end up going up to Pop Claw's apartment, knock on the door, and say that their landlord said that she needs a new router. We can put it in place. We can install it really quickly. I just need access to your computer. So she lets them in. And of course, as MM says, he's a really big fan of hers, that she's made some movies. And there's a lot of naked paintings of her or not naked paintings, naked pictures of her on the wall as Prince. And he, tells her that they're big fans. And she goes in the other room as Huey logs in and gets everything up and running. And they can see in her bedroom, in her living room, just pretty much everywhere. She's got cameras everywhere on, phones and whatnot. And as they're leaving, who do they bump into out in the hallway but A-Train? And Huey's standing right there staring at him. And A-Train's like, what, can I get you an autograph? And he goes, you don't remember me? And he goes, oh, have we met before? Because I see, I meet a lot of people, man. And that's when Mother's Milk grabs him and goes, oh, we got to go. Sorry, man. We got to get going. And they take off. And that's when Mother's Milk goes, are you trying to get us fucking killed at this point? Yeah, just keep going. Don't try and engage him at this point. Oh, man. Yeah. We end up seeing Queen Maeve sparring with these three guys, and she's kicking their asses pretty good. They've got aluminum baseball bats, and she is taking them down. And that's when the phone rings, and she's like, really? Now? All right. And so she ends up talking to Homelander, and we hear gunshots as they're walking and talking. They're talking about Translucent and how no one seems concerned that Translucent's signal is dead and that no one's gotten a hold of him. And Maeve is like, well, he's a perv. He's probably out, doing something out there that he's not supposed to be doing, And it turns out that Homelander was called into Queen Maeve's assignment, which is a sniper up on the 30th some odd floor. And he flies up there and smashes into the window. And she's like, elevator is what she asks the cops, and goes up in the elevator. They continue their conversation. And Homelander kind of brings up a point. He goes, why are we taking orders from Vought at all? They're just ordinary humans. He goes, we're soups. We should be running the show. And, Maeve is like, well, they make us money. They make us a lot of money. They actually take care of things, all of that. And that's the way it should be. So they bust in through the door, and they, Homelander kills one guy pretty quickly and then shoves his hand into another guy's chest and squeezes his heart till he dies. And Maeve's like, great. She goes, this is supposed to be my collar. I was supposed to bring this guy, in and all that stuff. And he's like, well, it's still your collar. He goes, well, you know the drill. And he hands her the gun. He goes, they shot first. And so she shoots at him, and bullets, bounce off him, of course. And she goes, the things that I let you do to me. And he mentions that, yeah, why did we stop dating? Which is really fucked up at this point. That whole scene right there, that whole little bit is kind of disturbing in a lot of, if you go back and I've watched it twice now, and it's very disturbing. And I'm wondering if they're going to come back to it in season 2 at some point in time, just because of the way this is set up at this point. So A-Train and Popclaw are making out, and of course the boys are all watching this on the cameras, and he's not into it because he's thinking about his race. He's got this big race against Shockwave in the next day, and Stillwell's basically telling him if he loses, he's off the 7. So he wants to get Compound V that she's got. It's like, yeah, give me the Compound V that I gave you. I need it. She goes, are you sure? You know what happened last time? You ran right through that girl. And he's like, yeah, give it to me. And she goes, come on. I know what I'm talking about. I know what it's like to be strung out. Yeah, well, Popclaw, it's not a weird name. We'll get to that in a moment. And, she brings out the Compound V, and Butcher says, that's what we want. We want to get some of that Compound V. And he asks Frenchie if he can reproduce it. And he says, sure, I can reproduce it, but I got to try some of it first. Because Frenchie is all about the drugs. He wants the drugs, he wants to try them out before he actually tries to remake them. So he knows that it's actually working. Yeah. So the boys end up going to the race. Huey is going to be posing as a mild-mannered reporter, as says. And Frenchie is going to be breaking into the locker room, while Butcher is going to be keeping an eye out. And is going to be doing surveillance in the van, is what he's going to do. He's going to be the guy in the van, if you will. So, and he also, he has a little talk with Huey because the other two have left, and it's just him and Huey as he's outfitting him. And he says, I heard you took down Translucent. He's like, yeah. He goes, that's some big stuff there. He goes, yeah. He goes, I felt pretty good about it. And He says, I feel kind of good. He goes, I felt that rush when I had the detonator in my hand. And MM's like, yeah, bullshit, man. He goes, there's a price to pay. And Huey says, whatever that price is, I'm willing to pay it. Yeah. And he regrets his last words to Robin, which was, do not besmirch Billy Joel. Yeah. So he says, whatever the price is, he's willing to pay it at this point. So Pop Claw's at home watching this race on TV. Frenchie crawling through the ducts, and he can see the bag that A-Train has brought, where most likely the Compound V is, and they're just waiting for him to leave. Starlight and Black Noir are there, and they're going to actually be doing a little signing, while Queen Maeve is sitting in outside doing an interview about letting Soups into the military. When who arrives, and in a grand entrance, but Homelander, and takes a seat next to Maeve. And we see, of course, Black Noir and Starlight doing their little signing. And a girl comes up, and she's dressed. So Starlight is dressed up in her skimpy outfit at this point. And a little girl comes up dressed up in her old outfit, and she goes, I really love, she really loves it. She sees it and says, oh my God, that's so great. I'm so glad you dressed up like that. And the little girl says, I'm saving up to buy the new outfit as well. And then some jerk in the back of the line says, hey, Stargirl, show us your tits. And she tells the girl just to ignore them. And she goes, and to save her money and don't buy the new, the new suit, of course. And then she tells Ashley, I need a break, because she's about to kick this guy's ass when Ashley holds her back. And she's like, you know what? I need a break. And she takes off. So she's walking back into the locker room, and who sees her but Huey? And Huey looks at her and goes, he knows her real name, of course, because he met her out on the bench there, and he calls her out. And she's like, oh, from the park. Yeah, you recognize me? He goes, yeah, I didn't before out in the bench, but I do now. And when she opens up the door to the locker room, we see Frenchie crawling down out of the duck. And of course, he needs to, create a little diversion, if you will. So he asks her if he can buy her a beer. And she goes, yeah, as long as it comes with some really shitty nachos too. So they're up there, talking about what it's like to be a superhero, what behind the scenes is. In the meantime, Homelander has come. Homelander and Maeve are standing up there, and they're waving. And he's talking to Maeve about what happened to them. They used to be good together, and he starts touching her hair. And of course, the crowd starts getting into this because it looks like he's getting a little personal with Maeve. And he says, he goes, I thought if you fell in love with somebody else, I don't know if I could take that, is what he says. And we see him kind of threaten her in a subtle way, and she kind of brushes it off. Again, there's some really good writing in this, and some good acting too. You get some subtle stuff that's going on, and some not so subtle stuff too at the same time. And yeah, Homelander is just fucking creepy. That's all I can say. And so Huey's like, oh, so this is the job you were talking about, that you really didn't like. And she goes, yeah, once you behind the scenes, it's not as glamorous as it looks, as she says. And she kind of says, there's a lot of stuff I don't like about it. It's not the job that I thought it was. And I don't even get to really I don't really like to, don't even get to stop any crimes. She goes, it looks like they just have me here to look pretty, essentially. And he turns off the microphone. And Frenchie, in the meantime, can't find the Compound V. He's looking around. He's just ripping apart the locker room looking for this thing. And Huey ends up attempting to scout Starlight there. And he's really kind of fumbling. And she goes, do you want my number? She goes, I can give you my number. And he's like, yeah, that'd be great. So he gets her number. In the meantime, A-Train is outside, and he's looking a little bit nervous about this race. And his brother is his coach. We end up seeing A-Train. It's a blink and you miss it kind of thing. He does a super speed and comes back. And he's shot up in that time that he's left and come back. Then he shot up with the Compound V. And Butcher sees it and says, yep, he's wired. We don't have the Compound V. Our mission's over with. So he calls Frenchie off and says, "Yeah, we need to go." MM in the meantime is watching Pop Claw on his cam and sees that she has pulled out her little bag and says, "I need to leave." And he has a hunch about something, and Butcher's like, "Where the hell are you going?" He goes, "I got something I got to take care of," and he leaves. So yeah, in the meantime, the race is getting ready to start. Everyone's looking at the race except for Butcher. Butcher is looking straight up at Homelander, and Homelander sees him looking at him, and they stare at each other, and they stare down each other at this point. The race starts. It's really, really quick, of course. And in that time, Homelander has looked up at the screen, and when he looks back down, Butcher's gone. Billy's gone at this point. So Huey tells Billy that, you got Starlight's number, and MM calls and says that Pop Claw's eyeballing a vial of V right now, and she's getting ready to take it. And they're like, "Well, how did you know this?" They get back to the van. They're looking at it and goes, "How did you know this?" He goes, "Well, I know a fix kit when I see one." And he goes, "I've been around long enough to see if, know what a fix kit looks like." So she ends up shooting up, and she is working out for like an hour, like hardcore working out, lifting up like a ton, all this kind of stuff. And who knocks at the door? Who rings her doorbell but her landlord, looking for the rent again? And she invites him in, gives him a drink, and she's flirting with him and all this stuff because, of course, she was supposed to be publicly. She had plans that A Train was going to announce her publicly as as boyfriend and girlfriend, but he nixed that. And she ends up deciding to seduce the landlord, I guess, in retaliation. So they're playing a little role-playing game where he's a thief, and of course she's the superhero who catches him, and she ends up sitting on his face, saying, "Yeah, you love to eat ass, you love to eat ass." And then she starts to have an orgasm and crushes his head, killing him. As this is happening, Huey's like, she's smothering him, and Billy's like, "Wait, don't go." And just as that happens, that's when his head crushes. And Huey's like, "We could have saved that guy. You just watched him die." And he goes, "Are you a superhero? Could you have gotten up the stairs and into that room in 10 seconds? Yeah, I don't think so." He goes, "But now we have some leverage," is what he says. Yeah, and he goes, "What is superheroes? What thing can you get to them most? Their vanity," is what he says. And so Butcher and Frenchie go up to the apartment while Huey is left with Mother's Milk. And Mother's Milk reminds Huey, goes, "Yeah, whatever price, huh? Whatever price." And Billy and Frenchie enter Pop Claw's place, and she pops out the claws and go, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And he goes, "You know what? We're your best hope right now because you are in a pickle, and we're going to need you to do something for us." In the meantime, Stillwell comes into the Sevens, meeting area there, and she's like, "What's so urgent that I had to come here? What's the fire?" And he goes, "It's over there." And he's showing her the box, and he goes, "That was found by a porpoise at the bottom of the ocean." The Deep is also there with Homelander. And she goes, "What the fuck's that?" He goes, "Open it up." And she opens it up, and it's what's left of Translucent. She's like, "Oh my God." And he's like, "Yeah, that was a message that was sent to us." And she goes, "What do you mean?" Because they weren't trying to hide it. He goes, "They put it in a box, so it would take us a little while to find it." And he says, "What can't I see through?" is what he says to the Deep. And he says, "Zinc." "And what is the box made of?" is what he asks the Deep. "Zinc." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Take a look what's written on the inside of the box," is what he tells Stillwell. And she opens it up, and it says, "Coming for you," spray painted on the inside of the box. And that's where we leave off the episode. Yes, what was the purpose of the message? I know that. You took my joke, god damn it. I was actually going to say that. That was the whole purpose of that whole message. Thanks for blowing that one for me, Sasha. Yeah, I like the zinc instead of lead as well, too, Viking Bitch. I thought that was a kind of an interesting little touch. And I believe that was Derek and Garth that had done that. I believe it was in the original comic, if I remember. Well, Translucent was not a hero in the comic book, by the way. He was made specifically for this show. So there you go on that one. And welcome everybody to another ass-eating episode of The Boys. Let's see what you guys are saying here in the chat, because I wasn't reading anything you guys were saying during the chat because I knew it was going to throw me off after everything I was doing here. Oh man, the safe word is Krampus. Krampus. The safe word is mango. Mango. All right. Mufinobi says, plus I told you as an insider and moderator, I gave up my chance. I'm happy for them. No, you're not. You're just... All right. Let's see. Huey just wants a shower and a hug, is what Viking Bitch says. Yeah, tell me about it. Oh my God. We were going to fire you, but social media loves you. Now you're a star. Oh, God. And let's see what else. Viking Bitch is going crazy here with that. Sasha, ew, stop saying Mother's Milk. That's the name of the character, is Mother's Milk. So, yeah. What should your next t-shirt, what should be your next t-shirt? A motherfucker with a heart. I don't know if about a motherfucker with a heart. I still like, your lack of enthusiasm bores the socks off me. I still like that one. That's my favorite one so far. Homelander is so jealous of them. Yeah, he really is. He does not give two shits about that baby. He really doesn't. He does not like Stillwell's baby at all. And yeah, he's got mommy issues too. So that's all I can say. He really, you can tell he's got some mommy issues. I thought it was funny that Frenchie calls MMO racist. I forgot about that. Yeah, he actually does call him a racist when they're arguing back and forth when Frenchie pulls the knife on him. Oh God. Pop Claw. Yeah, and Pop Claw, you could tell she was an addict at some point, even before the Compound V. There was some other stuff that she was probably shooting up as well. See, Dennis likes nudity and milk. Of course, Joe, who doesn't? Come on. Sasha Gardner says that A-Train sounds like an old washed up superhero from the 70s. Nope. Just a fast guy. That's all he is. Homelander's a sociopath. Yes, he is. Yes, and Pop Claw, by the way, yes, as Viking Bitch says, she has claws that pop out of her wrists. They were popping out like right down here. It was kind of a weird thing. They popped out that way. Yeah. At first, the first time I watched it, I didn't catch her name until like about the fifth or sixth time somebody said it, because I didn't realize they were saying Pop Claw for some reason. I don't know why. It just didn't roll off the tongue all that well. Yeah. Let's see. I wish Starlight would have kicked his ass. Yeah, I wish Starlight had kicked the guy's ass too. That was in the line there that was telling her to show her tits. Yeah. And yes, Viking Bitch's work, by the way, if you guys have not gotten a chance to go and see it, go and take a look at Viking Bitch's channel. She does some artwork. She does some phenomenal artwork. Go take a look at it. Quite honestly, some good stuff. Now I was going to plug my daddy, but that's cool, Joe Greer. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what that's about, and I don't want to. Sasha says, maybe I should start watching this show so I know what you're all talking about. Yeah, I mean, you can. I mean, you're always welcome to take a look. I've got it here. I will always watch it for a third time as well. Yes. Viking Bitch says that landlord wasn't innocent. He was trying to be a gentleman at first. Yeah, he was trying to avert his eyes from the nude painting. He accepted the drink because he was just trying to be polite. And really all he wanted was the rent. That's all he wanted. Nothing more. He was not looking to get laid, but sometimes that happens. All right. Don't look, Dennis. It's better if you don't look. Okay. Sometimes. Depends. That's what the blindfold's for. Unless, you have people like Doppelganger. Then that's the... That's just creepy. You can always tell who's a good person by how they treat animals and babies. Yeah. The motherfucker shirt has so much. So it wasn't a Vader quote, Sasha. That was an actual quote from a viewer that left it in one of my videos here, which I thought was fucking funny. I just like watching Starlight kicking the asses of foolish men, is what Viking Bitch says. Yeah. And yeah, I agree with you, Joe. She does do great artwork. Viking Bitch does. That came out wrong, Joker the Third says. Yeah, so Joe, when I'm reading through some of these things, I'm trying to grab as fast as possible things. So I might skip over whatever it is you said beforehand. So it's taken out of context sometimes. Just a word of warning. Blindfold should be used with the paddle. Yeah, I like taking the insults and turning them into some good stuff. That's what it's there for. So overall, yeah, this episode, damn good. There was some good writing in it and some subtle writing. There was some not so subtle stuff too, but there was a lot of subtle writing in this and a lot of veiled threats. Like I said, the stuff that Homelander was talking about, everything about why should we listen to the humans kind of thing. One thing is, and then also, threatening Maeve that if she fell in love with somebody else, he didn't know what he would do, and it's just like you see the sociopath in him, and then also how he's treating Stillwell and her baby, that you see him trying to break free of whatever these reins are that are being put on him, and Stillwell is losing more and more control over Homelander at this point. Yeah, he's not playing nice, shall we say, and we haven't seen anything as of right now as to why the Supes even listen to them, to tell you the truth, other than they make them money. That's all it is. I mean, do they have something over them? There's no reason. Well, they don't say anything about how Vought keeps these guys in control, or if they can even. So hopefully everyone else enjoyed it as well. I can see why Vought was psychologically manipulating Homelander because he is so dangerous. Yeah, but that goes into spoiler territory, Viking Bitch. So I'm not going to go further in. Yeah. Sasha, did Dennis give you that rose yet? No. Didn't happen. That's okay, Viking Bitch. It's not. I don't want to go ahead of the episodes. That's all. Just in case people are still, watching or that kind of thing. I would not accept his rose. That's a good thing. Yeah. Martha. Sorry, Joker. I had to. Every time people mention Batman and Superman, the whole thing now, it's Martha. Martha is the answer for that. So if you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the like button. There you go. And remember, if you want to see when I'm going to be on live again next, you can hit that little bell down there as well, or go to suspendedfanimation.com, see when I'm going to be on live, because I have my schedule up there. It's also mirrored on my Facebook page as well. I also have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, and I have a Patreon as well. And the Patreon doesn't have tiers set up at the moment, but there will be by the end of the year, most likely. So when I get some time, that's why I was late today, because I just didn't have any time. Got home, had to get dinner ready, all that stuff, had to take care of the dog, had some stuff I had to do, had to watch this thing. I didn't watch it beforehand. I had already seen it once before, but I have to take notes and all of that. So that's why I was 15 minutes late. Thought I was going to be even later than that, obviously, but I was able to pull things through. Needs a switch in his life. Oh, yeah. Okay. Bats always has a contingency plan. Yes, he does. He'll accept the rose. Oh, man. So if you're still on the fence also about joining up, you're going to see there's going to be a video up here at the end of this. And what it's going to do is take an algorithm from all the stuff that you've watched on YouTube, all the really weird shit that you've been watching, and it's going to match it up with one of the videos in my vast video library, pluck it out of there just for you and pop it up there. And as a bonus, there's going to be another video right up here. It's going to be Craptown, last night's Krypton. That's what's going to be up there. Light switch. Legion, that's right. Tomorrow, like I said, is going to be the drawing for the Swamp Thing. So it's going to be probably about like 10, 15 minutes long, a little video, that kind of stuff. We can chat as well. So I'll be doing that. Saturday is going to be Saturday Morning Blast Off. That's right. Saturday Morning Blast Off's back in the morning. And Sunday is Preacher. Preacher's back for the final season. And unfortunately, Monday is going to be the very last episode of Legion. So we get to find out how it all ends. And what the time traveler the time traveler? I don't know, Joe Greer. That's kind of a weird question, the way it's phrased. But we'll find out what happens with the time traveler. And Wednesday, of course, is Krypton. And I believe it's the last episode of Krypton as well. So yeah, I've got some stuff disappearing. There we go. When's the reviews for the next episode of The Boys? It's on Thursday, Jasper. Same bat time, same bat channel. That's right. I've moved it over to Thursdays here. So it's going to be Thursdays at 6:30. Yeah. I may end up doubling up on The Boys depending on what's on, because I know we have some dead space between now and when Titans appears on the 6th. And as I totally reach over to go and grab my magic book here that has my itinerary in here, my really bad itinerary at the moment, which I can't read anything. So I love doing this on the air. Harley Quinn, the animated stuff is in mid-October. Titans, September 6th. And I don't Nosferatu I canceled because that was just crappy. We got Preacher now, so it looks like it might just be Preacher for a little while. The Boys, and I don't have anything else at the moment. So after this week, anyway. So I don't know what this hairy pothead is. I don't do drug stuff. Jasper Seho says, I wonder how long we have to wait for season 2 of The Boys. It was so good, especially Homelander. Well, they've already announced that they've already at Comic-Con. If I can ever get the damn thing to actually load, every time I try and render the stupid thing, it crashes my computer. And that was, the panel for The Boys. But at the panel there at Comic-Con, they said they were more than halfway through season 2, filming season 2. Yeah, and that was at Comic-Con. So most likely they will be done filming season 2. I'm going to say probably the end of this month, maybe the middle of September, something like that. And I know they're going to put it for next year. That's for damn sure. They're not going to just do it right afterwards. They're not like Netflix where everything's just popping out one after the other after the other. That was just kind of ridiculous. But yeah, it's a good show. It's getting a lot of good buzz. I'm kind of surprised since they dropped it all at once. It's actually getting more and more momentum. I'm seeing a little bit more and more momentum of The Boys happening here. And that's a good thing. I don't think people actually realized what this thing was until they started watching it and went, oh, this is fucked up. This is messed up. Yeah. Like a Catholic baby in Monty Python. Sorry, Sasha. My brain's not, firing there. And Derek is having the time of his life. He really is. If you get a chance, follow Derek on Twitter. I actually, if you look on my Twitter, I have a link to him on there. I actually tagged him on there. and he's awesome. He's got some good artwork too. So it's like the cliffhanger of Continuum when all Liberal 8 got caught placed in the pods. Yeah. You know, I actually still never finished Continuum. I started season 1 and then I kind of bailed on it. I don't know why. Yeah. Jasper Seho says, "Yeah, I got on it late and was bummed for not watching it sooner." Yeah, but you know what? You're in it now. And that's why I'm doing it episode by episode rather than just doing a one and done of the entire season, because it needs to be teased out a little bit more, quite honestly. And I think people are going to actually appreciate that when they start watching it, instead of just me doing a 2-hour video of the season of how season 1 went, or an hour and a half video, something like that. Yeah. Oh, no problem, Jasper. I like talking about this show. This show is actually really, really cool. It's something that, and I've talked to Derek about this a couple of times in person. He's a great guy, and he loves this book. He really does. So he loved Happy too. That was the whole thing. So, but he wasn't as involved in Happy as he is with this one, which I'm glad. I'm really glad that he's finally coming into his own, getting some stuff made, and he deserves it, quite honestly. He's a really hardworking guy, and it shows. He's talented, very, very talented too. There's so much to talk about with this show that we need to do it one at a time. Exactly, Viking Bitch. There are so many nuances to it, and I can see why the Tick got canceled as well. It wasn't that that the Tick was bad, but it was a nice version of the boys, if you will. And they were too similar, quite honestly. They were very similar. Now that I'm sitting there watching it a second time, I'm like, oh yeah, this is actually really similar to the Tick. And I don't know if they could have had both shows on at the same time, because they were opposites of each other and the same. It was yin and yang is really what they were. They really were yin and yang. Yeah, I know that, Sasha. I didn't give you any credit for it, and that's the reason, the way I'm going to roll with it. So, yeah, I'm not going there, Jasper. So I'm not doing any spoilers beyond the episode that I'm talking about. So we can talk about episodes 1, 2, and 3 right now, but I'm not going to talk beyond that because people might not have gone any further than that, and so I don't want to blow things for them. The Tick is too tame compared to the boys, but I still, yeah, I love the Tick as well. I mean, it's something that came way before the boys, quite honestly, and it is a nicer version of the boys. It still parodies the same stuff. It just takes a different stance on it. Yeah. The Tick does use humor while the boys, the boys uses humor as well, but it's very dark humor. So whereas the Tick is light and joyful, as the Tick says, choose love. That's what the Tick does. The boys is very, very dark. Yeah. If we were to look at it in superhero terms, the Tick is Superman, Big Blue Boy Scout, as in the comics, not the Snyderverse. And the boys is the boys. No, they're Batman. It's Batman. Yeah. The Tick also had some underlying themes, though, Sasha. So there was some stuff that I had theorized in this version of the Tick that I think would have been really, really good if Edlin had gone that way, but I don't know if he was going to go that way with it, to tell you the truth. I don't even know if he thought about it that way either. I thought about that the Tick had sprung about because of Arthur. Arthur actually has a power that he was able to call forth the Tick from his mind. So, thanks, Joker. Yeah, it hit me as I was watching this episode. I'm like, yeah, they're just way, way too similar. Way too similar. Just one's really dark and one's really light. So, but good stuff. Damn good stuff. So again, join me tomorrow to find out who won the Swamp Thing poster. And on Saturday for Saturday Morning Blast Off. And Sunday for Preacher. And Monday for the last episode of Legion that we'll ever get. And of course, Wednesday for Craptown. And next week on Thursday when we're going to be doing this all over again. Yes. Well, Ben will watch your videos about the tick and rethink. I don't know. I don't know if Ben will ever see my stuff. It would be nice. I actually wanted. I tried to find him at Comic-Con. Not that hard, but a little bit. And I wanted to ask him because I was wondering if he's going to be signing again at the New England booth. He normally does, but I didn't see anything about him signing anything. Because I really that was one thing I really wanted to ask him. So that's all it was. I'm not going to win because I can't watch the zombie videos because I'm not caught up. You don't have to watch the zombie videos. Just watch The Boys. You can be selective about the stuff you watch, Sasha. You don't need to watch everything. That's what I'm here for. Any similarities between Garth Ennis' work? Well, yeah. I mean, so Garth did this. He also did Preacher. Yeah. So if you take a look at Preacher and you take a look at this, it's the same tone, if you will. And it is violence. It is a lot of uber violence and it's a lot of gore. And there are a lot of people blowing up too. That's the other thing from inside. You know, like the Allfather that blew up, translucent blowing up here. Yeah, there's a lot of things of people blowing up from the inside, which is weird. Heads exploding from, yeah, it's just some weird deaths, some violent deaths in weird ways. Sometimes, and some ass eating as well, from what I understand. I don't know more. I don't know if it's a modern video game. He's kind of taken it to if superheroes were real, what real problems would you have? And that's what he's kind of thought of. If you really had some kind of, there you go. If you had some kind of power like that, how would it manifest? What would be some of the problems that you would really have versus the clean ones and that we see in comics? That we normally see in comics, I should say. Sasha, just make any comment for the raffle. Yeah, you can make any comment that you want. Yeah. So Sasha, I thought you said comment on iZombie. So you make a comment in the comment section of the video. So if you go to the video itself, like if you go to the last Swamp Thing video right now, you're going to see if you scroll all the way down the bottom, there's a comment section down there. You add a comment in, that gets you in the running for the Swamp Thing poster. I've already given away the bag for I will be giving away the bag if Anthony Greenslade gets a hold of me via email within the next 48 hours, and the bag is his and gives me his mailing address. No, I was just explaining it to you. I wasn't calling you a moron. I was mansplaining what was going on there. See? Like right now, I'm just kind of explaining to you about my explaining of my mansplaining. If regular fucked up humans had superpowers don't make you a good person. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, superpowers do not make you a good person. They really don't. It's your upbringing. Upbringing. Wow, I am just like gone at this point. Yeah, kink is okay. Yeah, she knows where to find me. I know, but I'm not that scared. I've got Pepper to protect me. Pepper likes her sweaters anyway. Yeah, with that said, I'm going to let you guys go this time. Again, remember to subscribe, like, take a look at the video if you're on the fence there. And I'm going to let you guys go. I will see you tomorrow for the drawing for the Swamp Thing poster. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may find out you need a shower to hose off from that translucent ick that got all over you. You got a little translucent left on your face. Thanks, everybody. Thank you to everybody in the chat. And thank you if you made it this far in the video. I will see you tomorrow. Good night, everybody.